Celtic are reportedly preparing an €8 million bid for a World Cup winger who has attracted interest from Liverpool. Martin O'Neill has revealed for the first time exactly why his appointment as permanent manager took so long, and there are fresh updates on two players O'Neill wants to bring back to the club. Plus, the Kieran Bowie rumour gets a reality check, and Marcelo Saraki's situation at Boca Juniors has taken a very significant turn. Huge morning. Let's get into it. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Haisim Hassan's pursuit by Celtic looks set to take another significant step forward, with reports from Spain claiming the Celts are preparing an improved bid of around €8 million for the Egyptian winger. Journalist Christian Vaquero believes Celtic will return to Real Oviedo with a doubled offer after an initial approach, previously reported at around €4 million, was rejected by the Spanish club. Hassan's value has risen sharply after a standout World Cup, and Celtic now face a very different task than they would have a few weeks ago. The 24-year-old has been on Celtic's radar as a player who can add pace, directness and creativity to the attack, qualities he put on full display throughout the tournament in the United States. An €8 million bid would be the kind of statement that shows just how highly O'Neill's recruitment team rate him. But there are two significant complications. Oviedo have shown no willingness to sell cheaply, and the longer this goes on, the more clubs are joining the race. Reports now claim Liverpool are monitoring Hassan after his performances for Egypt. If a Premier League club with Anfield's pulling power and financial resources decide to make a serious move, it is very hard to see how Celtic could compete. Celtic News also understands Celtic are keeping an eye on Hassan's Egyptian international teammate Imam Ashur, who is expected to make a move into European football this summer as well. The Egyptian connection at Celtic could become a real theme over the coming weeks. The window on this one could close quickly. Celtic need to move fast if they want Hassan. Now for the main story, as Martin O'Neill has spoken openly for the first time about why his appointment as permanent Celtic manager took so long to confirm, and what he has revealed is genuinely fascinating. The 74-year-old has admitted that Celtic were rightfully looking at younger options before the end of the season, and that even after the double was won, he needed time to decide whether he had the energy to take the job on properly. Speaking to the Daily Record, O'Neill said, "Obviously, towards the end of the season, the board, quite rightly, would be looking at somebody younger coming in and seeing whether that young fellow would want to bring his own team in or work with, let's say, Sean Maloney and all of the lads. Quite rightly, they should be interviewing people at that stage. I think maybe after us winning the game, they gave me a bit of time and thought that I could be also in the mix, as it were." He was not critical of that process. He accepted Celtic had to think about the longer-term picture and look at coaches who could potentially build their own backroom team. What changed the direction of the whole decision was the way the season ended. But even then, O'Neill was not certain. He needed time. He said, "I think it was about a week or so, maybe a bit longer, to think about it. Obviously, I was taking time. I think they said, 'You'd better make your mind up before Christmas.' So that does help. So I did that. I was never sure about these things. They didn't ask me the following day after the cup final. But if they had have done, I honestly think that I wouldn't really have had the energy." That admission says everything about how intense the final weeks of the season had been. He pushed Celtic over the line to a domestic double and then had to ask himself honestly whether he had anything left. He said, "But like everything else then, you think halfway through September time, when you feel as if, oh gosh, I'm all right. Maybe I could have done it." So it was one of those. We finished in a great high. It was one of the best moments in managerial time, and it was terrific. I think I've always had the enthusiasm, but I really think it was to do with the energy. He sounds settled and ready now. The challenge is proving that energy can last across a full campaign, not just a remarkable 9-game sprint to glory. In other news, Martin O'Neill has given a fresh update on Celtic's efforts to bring both Kelechi Iheanacho and Marcelo Saraki back to the club, confirming that talks are at least progressing even if no deals are close to being completed. Both players were part of last season's double-winning squad. Iheanacho became one of the most important players in the run-in after arriving on loan in January, offering a physical presence and technical quality that transformed Celtic's attacking options. Saraki brought energy and directness from the left side and quickly became a fan favourite. O'Neill made clear he would like to keep both, speaking to the Daily Record. He said, I think there has been progress in the last few days. Yeah, I think Michael Nicholson has spoken to Iheanacho's agent at this minute. So that's the conversation at this moment. And I think it's the same with Saraki. I think both of them would like to come back, given the circumstances. Then it's up to us to try and see if there are deals to be done. I would like to take them, but I think there's a bit of work to be done. The picture is not entirely straightforward. Iheanacho is a free agent, but is understood to have interest from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, and Major League Soccer, which means Celtic are competing with clubs who can offer substantially bigger wages. The Saraki situation has its own complications. His agent previously told Celtic News that no formal offer had been received from Celtic, which does not quite match the picture O'Neill is painting of ongoing dialogue. It may be a case of informal conversations having taken place without a concrete proposal yet landing. Either way, as the next article makes clear, events at Boca Juniors may be about to force the issue. In other news, the reports linking Celtic with a move for Kieran Bowie have been firmly addressed, with Celtic News understanding that the club have not registered any interest in the Hellas Verona striker, despite the Italian reports that emerged earlier this week. Bowie had a promising second half of the season in Serie A after making a £5.5 million move from Hibernian to Verona in January. He scored 4 goals in 14 appearances, finding the net against Inter Milan, Juventus, Torino and Bologna, even though Verona were relegated. That level of quality against that level of opposition raised his profile significantly, and reports in Italy claimed Celtic were among several clubs monitoring him. Celtic News, however, is clear on the current position. No interest has been registered, no contact has been made, and the asking price involved makes that understandable. Verona are reportedly looking for around £13 million for a player they signed 6 months ago for £5.5 million. That is a dramatic jump in valuation, and is well beyond what Celtic would realistically spend on a striker this summer, particularly having already brought in Camilo Duran. Italian outlets also mentioned Bologna, Cagliari and Sassuolo as clubs with interest in Bowie. The reports appear to have originated from a single source and were never independently verified. Lastly, Marcelo Saraki's situation has become much clearer after Boca Juniors confirmed that the Uruguayan left-back is among 6 players now training away from the main first-team squad. The statement from Boca read, "They have all been notified of the situation and are training separately from the main group." 6 players affected at once is a significant number and leaves little doubt that Boca are preparing for life without each of them. For Saraki, who spent the second half of last season on loan at Celtic, this development adds real urgency to finding a new club. Training away from the main squad almost always means the door at your current club is closing, and in this case it appears to be closing quickly. The frustration from Celtic's perspective is that the situation at Boca has been developing for weeks, yet no formal offer has been made. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.